One area of video games I haven't covered heavily on the channel are letdowns, games that fail to live up to the hype they received or fell face first with their execution. I'm not one to actively bash games in some sort of twisted schadenfreude way. I want every game I play to be fun and amazing and have me coming back for more. Unfortunately, that simply can't be the case. We all have attachments to games like this. It might not even be a game that's widely received as bad, but a game you found underwhelming or couldn't get into. I don't like Undertale, but I'm not gonna stomp my feet and cry about it though. Oh yes! I was wondering how I could mass purge all my subscribers. Now I know just the trick. I'm very serious about that, by the way, but that's a whole different story for another video. Some more modern releases like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 and No Man's Sky are a couple that come to mind. Granted, I haven't played either of these games, but hot takes of disappointment seem to be unanimous across the board. Today I want to talk about a little known indie game that fell in that same space for me, and that game is Away, Journey to the Unexpected. I get asked by my friends all the time, how the hell did you find this game, or something along those lines. All I can say is, thank goodness for Humble Bundle. I'd say around 75% of my Steam library are purchases I made on Humble. Away, Journey to the Unexpected was merely another game in another bundle I bought. I did what I always do, judge a book by its cover, and thought, hey, this looks neat, let's give it a try, and I never looked back. I mean, the promotional art looks pretty cool, but outside of looking cool, I'm not really sure what to expect. But enough lollygagging, let's continue on with Away, Journey to the Unexpected. Am I playing a game or watching an anime? Seriously, this is one of the coolest openings to a game I've ever seen. The animation quality is outstanding, these scenes look action-packed and energetic, and characters are bursting at the seams with personality. If I showed you this video with no context, it wouldn't be crazy to assume it's the intro for a moderately decent anime. In reality, it's just the backdrop for the main menu of a PC game. Watching this for the first time got me really excited. Like, if this is what the title screen had to offer, I'd better buckle up my seatbelt. We take the role of a young child living with their grandparents. Mom and dad have been missing for a while. Where they are or what they're doing is unknown, but one thing's for certain, it's all a bit fishy. I gotta say, I love these graphics a lot already. The warm colors, the lighting, oh man, it's beautiful. The window curtains have a fluidity of like a poorly rendered GIF.
It's kinda tripping me out.
This room pulls off the kids' room vibe very well, with toys and knickknacks strewn about, string lights, posters, and an oversized TV. This could very well be a legitimate one-for-one recreation of some child's room for all I know. Upon waking up, a loud crash erupts. Grandpa believes it came from the basement and asks us to investigate. Heading down the basement stairs, we bump into our dog Max. Max tells us he just caught some workers cutting through the wall, trying to get into our home. Just letting this all sink in. Max hands us a stick to defend ourselves with. What a good doggo, at least it's not a dead bird. Trekking deeper into the basement, we find some... not quite sure what to call these things. Hey, do we get to leave Vault 101 now? After stepping through the newly created gaping hole in our wall, we arrive outside the Pines Valley. As silly as this sounds, exiting our home and entering the open world felt very similar to stepping outside for the first time in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. Similar in the way of a grand reveal of a luscious environment that's vast and explorable. Looking out as far as the eye could see, I was thrilled at the possible journeys that lied ahead. First thing I noticed was this floating cube. I was a bit suspicious. Messing around with cubes in video games usually never ends well. However, this is a friendship cube. Grabbing one allows us to add one additional party member. Sweet. Conveniently close to the friendship cube is a fellow who goes by the name Magic Ernston. Ernston, eh? Okay. Ernston informs us a company called Labbyworks tried to demolish his home earlier in the morning. Things are finally starting to make sense around here, aren't they? Our dialogue options with Ernston are pretty strange. Sometimes when you're drunk, you claim to be a wizard. I just met this guy. Regardless, calling him a drunk is enough convincing Ernston needs to join our party. Wow, nice fucking glasses, dude. I can barely see out of these things. He shoots fireballs from his cane, which does a decent bit of damage at the cost of each attack depleting from an energy meter that doesn't regenerate itself. That let me know real quick that I really had to pick and choose who to play when engaging in any sort of combat. That prioritization and efficient energy usage would be the #1 source to success here in a way. Well, we have a weapon and a companion that's equally suited, or more suited for adventuring, so what do we do now? Well, if you take a quick look at the minimap, you'll notice 3 big red circles. Each circle is its own dungeon. Finish each mini dungeon by hitting a switch and gain access to the boss level of that world. These mini dungeons aren't incredibly difficult and can be completed as quick as 10 seconds to as long as a couple of minutes. Enemies don't pose much of a threat and hazards are generally easy to avoid. They're only made hard for the simple fact that my attack is swinging a fucking twig. A tree branch that does 1 damage per hit? You gotta be bleeping me. It almost feels like I'm being trolled on purpose for nothing more than the dev's own sick entertainment. As far as the kid goes, the combat isn't bad, it's just off. The only time you can hit an enemy is when a crosshair appears on them, but it appears only when I'm within range to get hit myself. I feel so vulnerable knowing I have a better than even chance of being hit in return because, and I don't know if I've said this already, I'm fighting with a damn stick. Meaning I have to do little do-si-do in and out dash dances to hit everyone. It's about as fun as it sounds. Going from dungeon to dungeon, I found some interesting stuff along the way. One of which being some really poor sound design. Listen to this water sound effect. I'm confident I can make a better sound effect for that myself. I also spotted an item dealer named Gina. They have a few items up for sale. Another friendship cube, I'm sure that'll come in handy down the line. Burgers and fireworks. Huh, let's see what each one does. Or just fucking buy it. Thanks, game. Entering the boss level, I wasn't sure what to expect, but boy oh boy is this awesome. Way more enemies, way more hazards, optional platforming sections where I can nab more gold. This is fun. This is sick. I kind of wish that all the mini dungeons were as fleshed out and as individualized as this, but with them being so tame in comparison and easier to complete, it definitely helped a ton to make the boss level feel way more challenging and memorable. Coming face to face with the boss, I chucked all the fireworks at him I bought from Gina, and he died in a few seconds. Definitely don't regret accidentally buying these now. Did you really think I was going to 1v1 a boss with my 1 damage twig? Please. Now that we're done here, we can now enter the Arctic base. Does this place look beautiful or what? I just finished the first world and this looks like a great point to end the first session, so we'll tackle the Arctic base tomorrow. Why am I back home? Where's Ernston? Did the game not save? What the hell's going on here? All my progress got reset as well. What the fuck? I still have my items and... what is going on? I'm not quite sure what's going on here, so let's go ahead and consult the Steam message board, see if we can find anything. Strange, I don't see anything or anyone talking about save errors. What about the store page? Son of a bitch. I didn't have the slightest inclination this game had any roguelike elements, and unless you search the Steam store page like I did just now, how would you? The whole point of a roguelike game, or even roguelike game, is to feel like I'm having a fresh new experience each time I play. Take Death Road to Canada, for example. There's so many scenarios, characters, objectives, weapons, and unique interactions, it's almost impossible to keep track of. I've clocked well over 50 hours into this game, and can say with complete sincerity that I've never had 2 runs feel the same. Which is pretty amazing when you think about it. Death Road does this so properly, in my opinion, from one simple thing. Options. Options with everything. There's always different routes to take, actions to do, and means of survival. Different people will gravitate towards different things. What they think makes sense, what's best for them, and making the player weigh out the pros and cons of each choice. Another game that does this rather well is Immortal Redneck. Goofy name aside, Immortal Redneck applies these same various choice options on its weapons and skill tree sections. Each character has an impressively expansive skill tree with tons of branching paths. When new weapons are presented, you have to take in their strengths and weaknesses. Do I want to go loud and proud with a chain gun spraying bullets wherever I please, or do I swap it for the speed and precision of a machine gun crossbow? How about replacing my weak pistol for an almighty ultra powerful melee weapon crowbar? How is Valve naturally worming its way into this video again? Going back to Away, this luxury of diversity and endless replayability is stripped away when we have one linear way of progressing through the game. I did, however, get different bosses for the boss level when playing, despite everything else being the same. That was cool to see. This metal tarantula boss forces different attack strategies in order to win the fight. Holy shit, something different. Kinda like an actual roguelike game. Now we're back at the Arctic base and everything looks the same again. Okay, so I'm very clearly missing something here. If the levels themselves don't have any roguelike elements within them, then what does? It's the characters, yeah. Surprisingly, there's a ton of characters to play as. They all offer more fun and variety than any of the levels here ever could. Recruiting new characters to join you is how Away reveals more of itself, and that's what I think holds it back the most from being a quality game. Each time a new companion joins your party, you'll receive an extra star level. The first character you meet, you'll have 1 star level. The second character you'll meet, you'll have 2 star levels. You see the pattern. The star levels remain the same forever, regardless of who's in your party or at what point you're at in the game, with certain locations only opening up after obtaining a specific star level. I hate the way this is implemented so much because it makes failure look like such an attractive feature. Never in a game should I intentionally want to sabotage my progress to reap the benefits. Sure, if I mess up and the game ends or I die, especially in a roguelike, I'd hope to be able to keep any upgrades, unlockables, or new weapons I find. In a way, I'm fiending for more ways to play and areas to explore. This can only be achieved by resetting your progress, which completely blows. Which is a tremendous shame because without a shadow of a doubt, the characters are hands down the best thing that Away has going for it. Even with Ernston being the first character you encounter, he holds a tremendously high standard of gleaming personality and individualized gameplay. As a matter of fact, every character is like this. I met Woody, a hostile, insane tree who drops floating grape mines. How awesome is that? I wonder if Andy wrote that sign too. I'd guess yeah. I also met Sarah, a now deceased archaeologist who thinks she's a living bird. My personal favorite has to be Cool Kid. He's a popsicle with a halo that freezes enemies in place for a one-hit insta-kill. Doesn't get much cooler than that now, does it? If the deceptive, unroguelike level design and progression is a disastrous botch of flawed concepts, then anything having to do with the characters is a shining beacon of hope. The characters are so outrageously funny, ridiculous with their attacks, and genuinely fun to use that it's undoubtedly the highlight of the entire game, and by a wide margin too. It's just the structure of the game that throws everything else to the bottom of the well. Imagine you're binge watching a show on Netflix. Investable plot, fun, recurring characters, interesting scenery, good show that you're just really digging a lot. But when you go to watch episode 2, you have to rewatch episode 1. And when you want to watch episode 3, you have to watch episode 1 and then episode 2. You see where I'm getting at. The exact same thing is done in a way. So many of the characters are down the line from locations explored a million times over. By the time you get them, there's so little left in the game to do, it makes the build up and payoff hardly feel worthwhile. When new locations open up, they fast travel you to locations further down the story. This doesn't accomplish anything that I want. I want to go where I want, how I want, with whoever I want, not forced down a linear path, picking and choosing what character to take with me. What makes Away great is the characters. What makes Away bad is resetting my progress and each new run lacking any sort of deviation. How do we change this and change it for the better? By making it a normal fucking game. I genuinely think if Away was organized in a way that was like that of a normal game, not only would almost all pre-existing issues be gone, that it would let the characters flourish. Let me trade out the characters throughout the entire game rather than picking and choosing on a set path. I can't understand the logic behind having to reacquire everything I worked so hard for up to this point. Imagine having your story and character progress reset every time you boot up Sonic Adventure, Shovel Knight, or Moonlighter. You'd go insane, and I wouldn't blame you. I can see the idea the devs went for here, but retracing our steps over and over and over again is so unnecessary, boring, and annoying, to be frank. Making it one cohesive, almost not generic, but run-of-the-mill sort of game, structure-wise, I think would have served Away a lot better here. Which sounds insane, because I'm actually asking way less of this game, not more. If the characters weren't repetitive to obtain and locations were fleshed out to actually have a real sense of randomization over a fake one, Away could have been an awesome game. Oh yeah, there's a story underneath all of this, I almost forgot. When we finally find Mom and Pops, it turns out they're being held hostage by a time-manipulating ping-pong-obsessed clock named Pong Ping. Sure, yeah, whatever. He challenges us to a 1v1 ping-pong duel for our parents' lives. Shockingly, this is the easiest portion of the game. I had no problem thrashing this goof in a ping-pong battle. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Upon defeating Pong Ping, we get a wall of text saying he now lives in our garage and we freed our parents. Which is rich considering when you return home after the fact, Pong Ping is nowhere to be found and neither are your parents. I expected nothing less. Overall, Away is a weird game. I feel like it's confused with its own identity. I definitely don't recommend it to anyone, even though the characters are some of the most wacky, zany, stupid fun I've messed around with in years. The drawbacks hold this game down more than gravity holds us down. Ouch. Looking around on Steam, I was shocked to see that Away, as of the time I'm recording this, has a 48% positive review score, which isn't really all that positive. Most of the people who disliked the game had similar frustrations that I did. Though I don't dislike Away, I myself also have mixed feelings about the game. It hurts so bad because the potential here is through the roof. Like I said earlier, if Away had just been structured like a normal mainstream game, I think this game could have had tremendous success and be a fantastic game, maybe even a hidden gem. Hopefully Away will be revisited at some point in the future and get the proper love and attention it deserves. For now, it's just another game that could have been. To get the bad taste of that game out of my mouth, and because the anime intro was so good, I think I'm going to go ahead and watch an anime that I myself starred in. Yep, you heard me right. I starred in. It never gets old.